University of Georgia, and it's totally weird. I think I may even have that picture I took one day at the store up the street from my house. This dude's whole car is he got it painted like the University of Georgia, like had dogs on the side of it and a bulldog somewhere around on it, and like the whole situation. It was strictly the weirdest thing ever. So I'm gonna try to find it and post it to our Twitter and Instagram, which is at Sports Kings Live. Remember, our Facebook as well is Sports Kings Live, and you're listening to this podcast, the Sports Kings Podcast, via Spreaker.com. I am Big Mike. My partner Rob Calloway, who's usually here with me, is out for at least the first hour tonight. Make sure you guys send us your emails at sportskingslive@gmail.com. And don't forget, when you guys are downloading this podcast or listening to them, streaming them from the Spreaker site or either from Facebook or wherever you're getting them from, make sure you give us a like on the Spreaker site, because I think that helps us move on to different stages of where our podcast will be shared with people around the world from. I'm not totally sure about that, but for my self-esteem, give us some likes so that I'm not around here about to blow my brain. No, I'm not gonna say that. That's totally false. The other thing that happened today in the world of the NCAA, now we're in the stage about 29 days away from the NFL draft in Chicago, Illinois, and we're wrapping up. All these pro days are happening. These private visits are happening. The University of Miami, who's fallen off as far as first round draft picks are concerned in recent years. Miami used to be flooding the NFL with first round talent. Not so much lately. They went through the Nevin Shapiro situation. I don't know how much, because nothing really happened in that situation, but I don't know how much that hurt them in recruiting and the athletes and the way football is played now at the University of Miami, because that school and that program used to be one of the premier, most dominant schools, to the point where ESPN 30 for 30 they've done two separate 30 for 30s on the same school. Don't know if that's necessarily a good thing as far as what they're reporting in these 30 for 30s, but the fact of the matter is it was newsworthy enough. The reason I bring this up, especially for the people here in Atlanta, there's a tight end down there. If I can find his name here, that the Falcons are reported to be looking at here in the next in the later rounds of the draft. Now, everyone knows about Philip Dorsett and everyone knows about Duke Johnson, the running back, which, again, I think the Falcons probably need to get something going as far as a running back again this year. They got Devontae Freeman from the Florida State Seminoles last year, but Jacquizz Rodgers has moved on. Steven Jackson, excuse me. If you're a Falcons fan, thank God he's moved on. I guess that's what you're saying. They got Antone Smith coming back off of a broken leg, and they got some two young guys. I guess they were practice squad guys last year, still on the roster. But to get a guy who can run the football, this running back class is relatively deep, where you can get a guy, the kid out of Boise State, like I say, Duke Johnson out of the University of Miami. You can also, probably pick him up second, maybe he'll last to the third round. That may be pushing it a little bit with him. But as far as the Falcons go, I think running back may need to be a position of emphasis for them in the draft. Clive Walford is the tight end's name out of the University of Miami. Now, the tight end class last year was much, much better, headed up by Eric Ebron last year. This class, not so much. It's probably one real good tight end from what Mike Mayock says on NFL Network, one difference-making tight end in year one. And Eric Ebron didn't really make a huge difference to that Detroit Lions offense last year as well. He was hurt a lot. He seemed to disappear in the games that he did play. And hopefully this year, his second year, he'll make that leap into the tight end. He can be that Vern Davis type tight end. He has so many of the same athletic credentials as far as his speed and size. He's not the best blocker in the world, but in this day's NFL, really, who cares? So yeah, that happened today. The kid Philip Dorsett is reported had run like a 4.2. I think officially someone said they clocked him at 4.4, but it was somewhere between everyone kept reporting it was between 4.24 and 4.29. That is floating on air, ladies and gentlemen. So, and we've seen this year in and year out. These guys who put up these huge numbers in the 40, they end up improving their draft stock so much. Now, hopefully, the kid can play football. He's not just a track star, because that's usually the dilemma that you run into. You see a dude with that type of talent, just raw talent. The kid out of West Virginia a couple years ago, that's with the Rams now. Like they're trying, Devontae Austin, yeah, they're trying to find so many different ways to get this kid the ball because he can just run. And from my understanding, learning the playbook has been an issue. Guys like Cordero Patterson, who, by the way, Mike Zimmer, like, there's no way we'll trade Cordero. Slow your roll. I only take that to mean, or I only hear that in here, we have no offers for Cordero. He's a kick returner, and there really are no kickoffs in professional football anymore. So he's essentially worthless. Not to dog the kid out, but he's no one's number one wide receiver. This is why they went out and got help in the form of Mike Wallace. This is why they tried to go get an older guy in Greg Jennings last year, because they realized, we drafted a kick returner, and we're trying to make him into a wide receiver, and that never works. Moving on to the world of the NFL, some of the things that we found out about today. Marcus Mariota, he as well, and I say as well because Jameis Winston announced, I don't know if it was earlier this week or last week, that he doesn't plan on attending the NFL draft, and everyone wanted to give him crap initially on it, and they still kind of giving him crap on it, even though my man is like, look, my grandma is somebody that's important to me, and because of her physical condition, which is diabetes, she can't travel, and I want to spend this time, this great moment with her. And they're still talking about how they're trying to pressure this kid into going to Chicago because, it's the first time in Chicago, and, the NFL draft is this reality show now, and not having the premier, the overall number one pick there is what he's projected to be by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not being there isn't a good thing. It's like, man, miss me with all that. Respect that dude. But now today, Marcus Mariota said the same thing. He was like, look, man, first of all, I'm from Hawaii. So, yeah, good luck getting me to leave here before it's my time to leave. He wants to spend time around his family, too. And if you know anything about those Polynesian, Samoan, Pacific Island people, they're very, very into family and the people around them. It's a very, very big thing. I saw an HBO Real Sports about the amount of NFL players, like per capita, that come out of those Pacific Islands. There's no other place on earth, percentage-wise, that you have a better chance of being an NFL player than like the Samoan Islands and Hawaii and those Pacific islands. And I'm saying Pacific. I'm not mispronouncing specific for all my my black folks out there. So yeah, he's not gonna be attending the draft because he wants to be around his family. You know what I say? Good for him. But it still and yet brings up a concern that I mentioned yesterday. Like this kid, wherever he gets drafted, because it's not gonna be by the some people are kind of anticipating a little fall for him, and that may be another reason for him not attending, because he may in fact find himself, if he gets past number 2 at Tennessee. I guess we can turn this into our draft talk for today. He gets past number 2. Look at it. The Jaguars just got a quarterback. The Raiders just got a quarterback. Now you have the Redskins. Now the Redskins have said that they're not going to be opposed to drafting a quarterback. But let's say for whatever reason, they realize that they have bigger needs. Let's say they think they have a bigger need on the defensive end. They go at one of these outside linebackers, and Gregory or Vic Beasley or one of these guys. Then you have the Jets. The Jets just Todd Bowles is their new head coach, a defensive coach. they need help on defense as well. They need help getting to the passer. I don't know. I just heard yesterday that towards the end of the season, like Geno Smith had a perfect quarterback rating against someone. I don't remember what team it was. It doesn't matter. It's an NFL team. He had a perfect quarterback rating. So, I don't know necessarily how anyone out there listening to this would view that. But the fact of the matter is there's a possibility that Marcus Mariota could get past 6 with the Jets. Now you have Chicago. Jay Cutler's there. He's already been told by Coach John Fox that he's going to have to compete with Jimmy Clausen. That even sounds funny coming out of my mouth. That Jay Cutler's going to have to compete with Jimmy Clausen for the starting job in Chicago. And let's say that they're comfortable with both of the guys that they have, Jimmy Clausen and Jay Cutler. And for whatever reason, they feel like either they have to address the defensive side of the football with a guy like Shane Ray out of the University of Missouri, or replace Brandon Marshall, who they traded away to the New York Jets, with another wide receiver. If Amari Cooper is there, or if Kevin White gets past the Oakland Raiders, let's say they take Amari Cooper and Kevin White's still there, either one of those guys, and they end up going to the Chicago Bears. Now, the Atlanta Falcons, no need for a quarterback, right? You have the New York Giants. They have Eli Manning, which, by the way, they're going to let him play out the final year of his contract. So it would be interesting to me if, with that being the dynamic there, with all their needs on the defensive side of the football, as well as on the offensive line protecting Eli. Because, they're going to be cool if Victor Cruz comes back off that knee injury. All right. They got ODB, Odell Beckham Jr., who is monstrous at the wide receiver position. I'm not sure what they're doing running back-wise nowadays in New York. But I guess there's a possibility that they could look at drafting Marcus Mariota as their quarterback of the future if he falls that far, and if they're not convinced that Eli Manning is going to put up the numbers he needs to put up this year to get a contract extension from the New York Giants. This is the last year of his deal. Then you have the Rams, who just traded for Nick Foles, who's coming off of, what is he coming off of, an elbow injury? Shoulder? I can't remember. But he's coming off of an injury too. So there's a slight need there for quarterback. But again, Marcus Mariota could still be sliding right now because, offensive line. They drafted the big kid out of Auburn last year, the big tackle out of Auburn last year. They could also come back and draft another guard this year to secure that interior line. That's what a lot of people are doing now. We always hear about the left tackle and what a premier position that is when it comes to drafting football players. But now, when you have these drop back passes, these Drew Breeses, these Tom Brady's, these Peyton Mannings of the world, you want to have a clean pocket for them to step up into. They can step up in the pocket from these outside these edge rushers, but pressure up the middle is the thing that causes the most havoc for your drop back guys. And Nick Foles is one of those guys, a drop back guy. You have the Minnesota Vikings at 11. Teddy Bridgewater just went there last year. At 12, you got the Cleveland Browns. Johnny Manziel still ain't as of today, as of right now, while I'm recording this podcast, Johnny Manziel still in rehab. So, yeah, there's that. And they just signed who? Not Brian Hoyer. He's gone now. They signed the kid from he's not even a kid either. The guy from McCown from Tampa Bay. They signed him. They're going to have to find a way to get them a wide receiver. I don't know if they'll get it here in the first round. But again, Marcus Mariota is falling. He's falling now to 12 if you're keeping count. There is a chance. The Cleveland Browns brass has said they have no inhibitions on going quarterback again if a guy like Mariota is still there. Now, they're going to need help offensive line-wise. The big kid, another big kid from this Miami Pro Day, Eric Flowers, who, he's possible to be there with that 12th pick. Or on the other side of the ball, big kid, Danny Shelton out of Washington. I watched some tape on him yesterday. Guy who can play that Vince Wolford type, hold you down in the middle guy. At 13, you got Drew Brees and the Saints. 14, you got Ryan Tannehill, and